Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Vibrate Higher. I am your host, Joelle. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. And if you are not, welcome back. Today's episode is about how to make bold moves even when you're scared. So the first episode that I recorded in 2025 was all about being. And what I mean by being, I'm talking about embodying the version of yourself that has everything that you want. So I asked you to take some time to define and to visualize the version of you that exists on December 31st, 2025. The version of you that has everything that you want to have by that time. And I've gotten so many text messages to the podcast telling me that you're walking this through with me. So my first few episodes for this year have been all about this being journey. And as things come up on my path, I want to make sure that I'm sharing how I'm working through it with all of you, knowing that it's going to help you too. This episode is no different. I wanted to record it as a guide for all of you that are on this journey with me. I don't know about you, but I found myself hitting some blocks in embodying this version of myself. I've had to overcome some limiting beliefs. I've had to deal with some self-sabotaging. I'm sharing this episode in hopes that it hits home with some of you who may need to hear what I needed to hear as I was going through this particular struggle that I'm about to talk about. Making bold moves through fear starts with belief. Belief in yourself and belief in something else, a higher power, God, the creator, the universe. When we don't believe in ourselves, our goals, our purpose, our abilities, fear shows up as a protection mechanism from the subconscious mind as a means of survival. In those scenarios where we are questioning our talents, your mind is programmed to either fight, which is push against whatever it is that you're questioning, flight, which is get the heck out of Dodge, or freeze, which is do nothing, procrastinate, shut down. So fight, flight, or freeze. That's kind of the programmed responses that your subconscious mind has when a proposed threat, quote unquote, comes. So in this case, there's something that you're trying to do or work through or an action that you're trying to take that has you questioning yourself. As I look at my own journey, what came up and what really inspired this episode is I struggle a lot with visibility as it relates to Zenergy, putting myself out there for everyone to judge or to doubt or to discount me and my message. And this can be a huge blocker for me showing up the way I know that I need to show up to have the impact that I really want to have. In order to make the bold moves that I need to make to be more visible in my business, I need to address the core belief that has me struggling. So I want to share one of the ways that I use to quickly address core beliefs. Now, in other episodes, I've given you a very detailed process in how to overcome. I think it was in the limiting beliefs episode. So if you really want to get more granular in this, definitely go back to that episode, or if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. But here is a quick hit that helps me address beliefs that I know are not serving me when things come up like they did in terms of like struggling with visibility and trying to put myself out there. What I basically do is I ask myself the question why until I feel the truth come up. And this is very similar to the technique you guys have heard, like ask yourself why 5 times. It's been around for a while. So this is nothing that I invented, but this is something that I use, and I'm going to give it to you the way that I do it. I want to frame it for you, and we're going to walk through an example. The frame of this is when you are walking through this process, you are having a conversation with your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind forms its belief system by the age of 7. So if you have not done any inner work on any of your beliefs that need to be uprooted, your 7-year-old self is running the show for you and making decisions on fight, flight, or freeze, and all these other things So let's take the example of me struggling with visibility. So what this looks like for me is I procrastinate with being more present on social media. I drag my feet or talk myself out of things. At one point, I was like, I need to do live videos because I want my tribe to be able to connect with me and see me. And I do that, but not as frequently as I'd like to do it. And anytime that I find myself saying, I'm going to do this, I self-sabotage. I take some sort of action that gets me busy on something else. I put it down and it never happens. So this past week, I sat down with the intention that I'm going to fix this. Now, you can do this process without a pen or paper. This is not something that you have to pull out a journal for and get your highlighters and your colored pens. You can do this while you're driving. You could do this while you're cooking. So the first question I asked my subconscious mind was, why am I struggling with being more visible for my tribe? All you have to do is just sit. Your subconscious mind will give you the answer, typically immediately. Don't overthink what comes, just let it come. So I asked that. A second later, it answered, because you're afraid your videos might flop or no one will want to connect with you. And my question back was, why am I afraid of that? Immediately the answer, because you don't want to be embarrassed if you fail. When that answer came, I felt it. And when I say felt it, like there was a physiological response. So it felt almost like I wanted to cry a little bit. Like I felt like I was getting kind of emotional. So I got some chill bumps a little bit and my throat started to feel like I had a lump in it. And I'm like, okay, got something there. But I kept asking, well, why don't I want to be embarrassed? And my subconscious mind does what I always tell you guys that it does. It's your inner lawyer. It goes into all the filing cabinets of all the memories it has stored of your entire life, things that you consciously don't even recall. And it literally pulled out a memory for me and gave me the evidence. And when the memory came to me, I got very emotional. And it was basically the earliest, most embarrassing moment that I could remember. And everyone probably has one of these. But it basically showed me when it formed the belief that we have to protect me from being embarrassed. So the memory was, I was in middle school. So it had to be somewhere around 5th or 6th grade. And my mom picked me up from school. We go directly to the grocery store that was not too far from my school. So, we're grocery shopping. We get to the register. We put all this stuff up on the counter. And behind me is someone I know from school. So I'm helping my mom put all the stuff on the register. And whenever it was time to pay for everything, whatever payment my mom used did not go through. And we didn't have debit cards back then, so it had to be a check. But whatever happened, it was declined. And I remember feeling like I wanted to crawl away. I wanted to cry. So at that point, we're having to pick things off and take stuff back. Like, we're going to put that back and we'll get that next week. Like, it was one of those moments. And it was like more people behind them in line now. The person that I knew from school was in line with their parent, their mom or dad. And it was just so embarrassing. And I just wanted to melt away. And that was the memory that my subconscious mind gave me, because for me, that was the first time I think I've ever felt truly embarrassed. The point where a guard was put up, that I think in that moment, that snapshot happened and it said, this is what embarrassment feels like. We never can feel this again. And so now, anytime there may be a chance that I could feel that way again, subconsciously, I don't want to do it. I will delay, I will drag my feet, I will procrastinate, because my subconscious mind will not allow us to go through that again. That particular memory has nothing to do with videos, but the feeling of embarrassment is what put the limiting belief up and the protective guard up to fight, flight, or freeze when there is a potential for embarrassment. So that quick questioning got me all the way to the bottom of that memory. It probably took me about a minute to get there. It's quick, back and forth, back and forth. Don't question what comes up. Just keep asking why. Why, and you'll feel it. So once I felt it and I remembered the memory and I was very choked up as I'm sitting there with myself, like, even in that little quick minute, I'm like, whoo, God, I remember that. I was so embarrassed. Like, I couldn't tell you my fifth grade English teacher's name, but I can tell you the name of that store, the time of day it was. Like, I could see it like it was yesterday. So once you get that memory, sit with it and heal it. And what I mean by that is have a conversation with your subconscious mind. Talk to your 7-year-old self right then and let them know that is okay. So that's what I did. I sat there and I said, hey, I remember that. And I know that hurt. It was so embarrassing. You wanted to melt and away onto the floor and slither under the grocery store door. But now, decades later, that feeling that you're avoiding is not more important than the people that you are supposed to impact that need your message. And it is okay if it takes them a minute to get there. It's okay if some of your videos don't get 1,000 likes, they only get 2 likes. It's okay if only 2 people buy your first course. It's okay. Like, I literally had to soothe her to say, it's okay. We have such a bigger purpose at this point. And you get where I'm going with it. Have the conversation, heal it. That's where we start. When we're talking about making bold moves through fear, you have to acknowledge that that starts with beliefs. Because fear, you've heard this acronym, is false evidence appearing real. There is something there that has made your subconscious mind think that it needs to protect you from something. So that is one of the quicker ways to do it. Again, if you really have some deep-seated ones, go back to that limiting belief episode and listen to the steps I gave you that are a little more involved, and they will help you with some more of those deep-rooted beliefs. So now that we understand that we have to start with the belief to make big, bold moves through fear, the next thing I want to talk through is once you've done that, so you know what the belief is that's holding you back, you've done the work, you've healed it. Now, so are you just like cured and making videos? Depends. Depending on what the belief is, sometimes it could be that easy. And if that's the case, love that for you. If that's not the case, that's okay too. I have done it. It depends for me. I've done that process that I just walked you through and been fine in seconds and healed something and been like, oh my God, I'm like a new person. And then sometimes it takes me a little bit longer because the wound, although I have stitched it up, it needs Neosporin, it needs a bandage, maybe it needs some steri strips on it. It just needs a little bit of time. So I want to talk through some other ways of how to kickstart your belief engine when you're trying to make big moves through fear. So after you've worked through the belief, what I would recommend doing next is affirm. Affirm your new belief. Affirming things on a daily basis that you believe will train your subconscious mind out of the limiting beliefs. So let's keep using my example of struggling with visibility. After I figured out what the belief was, I've soothed my 7-year-old self. Now I'm going to work on affirming. So I'm going to write one affirmation. I'm going to say it every day for 10 days. My affirmation could sound like, I believe in myself and my message. That's simple. It's true. I believe in myself. I believe in my message. So embarrassment is not going to matter because I believe in what I'm talking about. There's nothing to be embarrassed about because I believe it. You have to start somewhere with affirmations. If your core belief is deeply embedded and that doesn't feel right when you just say, I believe in myself and I believe in my message, and it's like, I really don't, then baby step your way by adding in words like, I'm working on believing in myself, or I'm working on believing in my message. I have an affirmation course that'll walk you through some steps. I will link it at the bottom of the show notes. It's free. Feel free to dive in and use it. The second way to kickstart yourself to make bold moves through fear is make small promises to yourself and keep them. Simple promises. So for me, in my example, knowing I want to be more present online and knowing I want to make more videos, but I'm struggling with it. Now that I've uncovered why and what the belief is, now I'm going to make little promises to myself. Like, I'm going to create content for 1 to 2 short videos that I can put out this week. And I didn't say I'm going to record the video. I said I'm going to create the content. I create it. I kept that promise to myself. Then the next day or two, I do a bigger promise. I'm going to record the video that I made the script for. So it's basically training yourself not to doubt yourself and that you do what you say you're going to do. Do those for short periods of time and then move on to bigger promises and to bigger promises. The next important part of making bold moves through fear is staying grounded in your vision. The vision of the person that you plan to be by December 31st of 2025. Walk yourself through what that version of yourself had to do to get where they are, especially when you're in the midst of a struggle like I was a few days ago. I would ask myself, that version of the 12/31/25 version of Joelle, did she consistently make herself visible to the people who could relate to her? Did she follow through with that idea to put herself out there that felt really scary? Ground yourself in that so that you remind yourself, I'm on a journey to embody this version of me. What would that 12/31/25 version do? What did she do to get there? And lastly, how to make bold moves through fear. Make your expansion the goal. Go within and take action to release the things that are attached to an old version of you, like we walked through the beliefs. But it's not just that. Anything that comes up for you, take the time to go within and release the things that you need to release. Deal with the triggers as the triggers come up. Don't just ignore them. Hit them head on. Expand yourself to be able to hold the success that you're calling in with the new version of yourself. When you make the expansion your goal and not the thing, it takes you off the external focus and it puts you internally focused. And that is where lasting transformation comes from. That is where the version of you that exists on 12/31/25 gets to be that person and never goes back. So those are my recommendations, and that is what I have been struggling with over the past week and a half. I hope that this hit for some of you that are on this journey, and it's not too late. If you want to go back and listen to the first episode of 2025 and hop on this journey with us, by all means, go for it. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. When you do that, the podcast grows. Also, send me text messages. I love reading the feedback from you all. Let me know how you felt about this episode. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know what you're struggling with. I love you all, and I wish you love and light, and I will talk to you soon.